Letita Wright is the latest victim of the cultic Twitter mob, as she shared a post earlier today on Twitter that didn't sit well with the mob. Now, if you don't know who Letita is, she's a famous actress who played in the hit Marvel movie Black Panther. So now on Twitter, she shared a video from a YouTube channel called On the Table, run by a leader from the Light London Church, which I believe is located in London. Anyways, in the hour-long video that she shared, the host apparently claimed to be skeptical of using the COVID-19 vaccine, and he says he doesn't know if he's going to take it. Unfortunately, the video was taken down as far as I can tell, so I can't really verify what the video said one way or another. But according to Variety, he questions the legitimacy of the COVID-19 vaccination, appears to be skeptical of climate change, accuses China of spreading COVID-19, and makes transphobic comments. Wow. Let's go ahead and go through those one at a time. Now, when it comes to questioning the legitimacy of the COVID-19 vaccine, shouldn't everyone's initial thoughts be somewhat skeptical since it's new? And from what I understand, it's the first licensed mRNA vaccine to be used in America. This is literally the first of its kind to be legally used in America. So now that obviously doesn't mean it's bad because it's new or anything like that, but what it does mean is that it's not irrational or even immoral to question its validity. At minimum, being skeptical should be completely understandable. Next line. Appears to be skeptical of climate change. Well, granted that this is true, again, I don't understand what's so wrong about being skeptical about something like climate change, or really to be skeptical about anything for that matter. I realize that it can be a problem if you're just overly skeptical forever and you treat it as an end within itself, so you're not really trying to find the solution, you're just trying to be skeptical. But I don't think that it's wrong to simply be skeptical about something, or really anything for that matter. Accuses China of spreading COVID-19. Isn't that a fact? Isn't it a fact that China is actually responsible for the spread of COVID-19? How is that being considered an unsubstantiated accusation of some sort? Even CNN grants that China is responsible for the mishandling of COVID-19 in its early stages. And lastly, of course, he makes transphobic comments. Now, but just going off with a brief summary prior to that claim and how they made it sound as if he was wrong for all of those other things that they accused him of, let's just say that I'm a little skeptical that the accusation of him actually making transphobic comments is accurate. Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but what I am saying is that I'm skeptical that they're right. Skeptical, which we just saw is apparently a no-no with these guys. But anyways, as expected, this didn't go over well with the thought police on Twitter. Actor Alex Sawyer responded by saying, "This is a frustratingly irresponsible use of a platform." Another user said, "This was filled with hyperbole and zero evidence for his hot takes." And another person says, "Cancel Black Panther 2 immediately." Cancel Black Panther 2 immediately? Drama queen. How is that a solution to anything? Why not just respond with facts and show that they're wrong? And someone else said, "The concerns re any vaccine are understandable, but we must work as a team. Take this vaccine and punt this pandemic behind us for good." I sincerely hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, and please reconsider your stance on this matter. You're making people upset. And to that, Wright replied, "Not my intention to make anyone upset, and nor am I saying don't take it. I'm just concerned about what's in it, that's all. Isn't it fair to question or ask?" And she later tweeted a statement about the backlash. "If you don't conform to popular opinions, but ask questions and think for yourself, you get canceled." She also wrote, "My intention was not to hurt anyone. My only intention of posting this video was it raised my concerns with what the vaccine contains and what we're putting in our bodies. Nothing else." So it sounds like a wild day for Letita and business as usual for Twitter. So I just want to be clear real quick. I'm not one of the people who think that COVID is a hoax or anything like that. I know that there's a growing number of people that I keep seeing online who think that we shouldn't be cautious when it comes to COVID and that it doesn't really exist at all. It's all just a hoax. Well, I'm not one of those people. My point here is more about how they're shutting down someone for asking questions without trying to answer those questions and what the result of that is. So what's ironic here is that people don't realize just how much silencing people almost always backfires. Now, as you know, Christians have been silenced in China, for example, and it's actually really possible that the silencing of Christianity in China is what led for it to explode in growth. I mean, 30 years ago, it was reported that there was somewhere around 3 or 4 million Christians, and now due to Christian persecution, of course, we can't get an accurate number of how many Christians there are out in China today, but there's at least 50 million Christians. But a lot of people are saying that there's more Christians in China today than there are in America. Now, ironically, when it comes to the Twitter mob, I'd be willing to bet that there's a good amount of those commenters who reject Christianity and do so because they felt as if they weren't able to ask questions without being shut down. They probably felt as if their doubts and their concerns weren't respected, and people would just shut them down and stop them from voicing those. And for those people, what was the result? Well, they left the church and they went somewhere else where someone would validate their questions and provide some sort of answers to those questions. I personally believe that this is one of the main reasons for the growth of online atheism that we see today. As you've seen in my other videos, when it comes to people who have deconverted from Christianity and now became atheists, typically the mode is they have doubts and questions that people aren't even attempting to answer to them, and they get shut down and even put down for just simply asking the questions in the first place. So what happens is these people start becoming more and more bitter towards Christianity, and they start looking online for questions, and lo and behold, online atheism is there to try to provide them with answers to those questions. This is why I've done hundreds of videos responding to the leading objections made by online atheists and exposing the fault with those supposed answers. The reason why is because I want people to see that atheists don't have the best answers, and I think it's important for us to respond with some good answers. The truth is, when Christians make people feel bad or make them feel guilty for simply asking simple questions, a lot of the questioners feel like, well, if these people are afraid to answer questions and afraid to let other views be heard, then what are they really hiding? And ultimately, that starts leading to distrust, and that ultimately pushes them in the opposite direction. Now, something similar can be said when it comes to the pro-vaccine crowd that's silencing people who have legitimate questions and concerns about taking the COVID-19 vaccine. When questioners are continually being shut down by simply just asking questions, it makes a lot of questioners start wondering, what exactly are these people hiding, and what are they really trying to protect? And once these doubts start kicking in, then assigning motives to these people for what they're really hiding actually becomes up for grabs. The response to the Twitter mob has no doubt backfired and will continue to backfire as long as this is their solution to the doubts of millions of people. Now, I think as Christians, we can actually learn a valuable lesson from all of this. When people have legitimate and sincere questions, one of the worst possible things that we can do is just go ahead and shut them down and make them actually feel and believe that we don't respect them enough to even try to listen to them and really engage with what they're wrestling with. What we should be doing is working towards seeking and providing answers to those difficult questions, no matter what those questions are. The good news is that while working on responding to the most challenging questions through the Christian faith for years now, I'm confident that there actually are answers to all of the major and the tough questions. You just got to take the time to find them. Go ahead and click on this playlist to see some of my responses to the common objections to the Christian faith made by some of the most popular online atheists. But the next time you see people trying to cancel people for just asking simple questions, what are you going to say?
What do you mean?